Week 2, and I have a jam-packed episode for you guys. We're going to compare how the physique is changing. I'll show my top 5 low-calorie, high-satisfaction meals, and stick to the end because I'll share the best fat burners and supplements to use while cutting. Welcome, my friends, to the second episode of the Buff Vegan New Year's Challenge. I'm definitely starting to feel the effects of the cut. At the end of my workouts, I am exhausted, but we are seeing some really good results, and I'm excited to share them with you. Let's get into this. All right, let's take a look at last week versus this week. Now, 1 week is not a lot of time to compare any differences. We probably aren't gonna see that much of a difference, but if we look closely, we will start to see some details change. I do wanna point out that this is right after workout, so I'm heavily pumped, we're under great lighting. Essentially, we're feeling thick, solid, and tight. So you can see in both of these weeks, there's the Christmas tree, which is basically like the rippling, the striations that's going on in the lower back when I pull my elbows back. We can see that it's starting to look slightly more defined this week. We've probably dropped a little bit more water as well as the beginning of some fat loss. And the lat spread is looking slightly wider. And while my lats didn't get bigger, a cool thing is that as you get more defined, your muscles actually have the illusion of looking bigger. I paused on this back double bi because it's a little bit more clear here that the small details are beginning to pop out a bit more. The back of the shoulders are starting to striate a slight bit more, and the upper back is showing just a tiny bit more definition. And here's the side pose. A little bit harder to see a difference here, but also I will be the first to admit that I am absolutely great at posing. Overall though, I am super happy with the start of this first week's progress, and we'll see where we go from here. All right, let's talk about cheat form. I know a lot of people think you need to be perfectly strict, 100% perfect form, but I think that actually holds you back. I think there's a time and a place to let your form deteriorate by like 15, even up to 25% so that you can use heavier weights. So right here, I'm doing dumbbell curls with 60-pound weights, and you can see as I'm going through this set, my form is getting a little bit more cheaty. I'm using a bit of momentum to get the weight up, but then I'm really trying to use that bicep to lower it down. Now, if I wasn't using cheat form and I just stopped when I was failing, I would be done 2 reps earlier. So I'd be missing out on a lot of extra lift. So now my next set, I scaled it down to 50 pounds and I can use a lot better form. You can see that my form is really, really tight here. Side by side, you can see the difference. Using cheat form for that first set or 2 to get a little bit of extra weight is a great way to get extra strength, and then you drop the weight, tighten up the form. Over time, this allows you to be able to use that weight that you were originally cheating with for higher reps with tighter form. So cheating can actually really benefit you if you use it correctly and you don't allow yourself to cheat in such a way that you're putting yourself at danger for injury. When you're dieting, you get really hungry, and one of the best ways to deal with that is to eat foods that deliver a lot of bites or volume with very little calories. So I'm gonna show you my top 5. First off, mushrooms. Cut them up, throw them in a pan, saute them plain for about 5 minutes, then pour a good amount of soy sauce in there and serve with salt on top. Next up is veggies. And this one might be a little obvious, but carrots, cucumbers, broccoli, snap peas, whatever it is, you can eat them raw or you can saute them again with soy sauce. And you get a ton of food, lots of volume for very little calories. This next one is one of my favorites when I get really low in calories, and it's pickles. When I coach people who are getting to single-digit body fat and they really have to restrict their calories, I tell them to go to town on pickles. There's a ton of flavor, obviously, unless you hate pickles, which sucks for you. There's a lot of bite, but there's really almost no calories. Now, I don't know about this one. I just found it. It's vegan jello. There's 20 calories in this whole bowl. We're gonna come back to this one. Finally, popcorn. Do not underestimate this one. If you buy the actual kernels and microwave it with no oil, you can have as big of a bowl as you want, and it's only gonna be about 30 or 40 calories. Again, as long as you don't use oil. A little hack that you can use is if you fill a little spray bottle up with water or vinegar, if you're daring, and then spray down the popcorn and sprinkle with salt, it'll taste just like popcorn from the movies, but just with no butter or oil. All right, let's see how this tastes. Let's try this jello out for the first time.
I'm really excited about this. I haven't had jello, well, jello shots, probably like 15 years.
Jello
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
in high
ever eat
school.
jello or you just drank it?
I mean, when I was little. Really?
It's such a good, it's like 0 calories, tons of volume when you have a sweet tooth. And it looks like jello. It has the jiggle. It smells good.
Brand is Simply Delish, and I believe you got this on Amazon, right?
Yep.
Yep.
We're about to see how it stands up to the test of time.
Test of time.
Here we
Ooh,
go.
look at that texture.
That's pretty jello-y.
That's really jello-y.
Oh yeah, it's exactly like jello. This whole bowl is 20
Ooh, it
calories.
smells really good. Wow, that's so good.
It's got that, you can squish it through your teeth.
This is peach flavor. It's really good.
That's good.
What a good tip this is.
Last week I said I'd get a starting point for my deadlifts in this episode, so here we go. Warmed up with 135, 225, then hit this 315 for 2 reps. Went up to 365 pounds, and then I was able to get 1, and I could definitely feel there was no way I was gonna get 4 plates today. So I backed it off to 275 and went for high reps just to see what I could do. I've been mainly squatting and I haven't been doing deadlifts for the past few months, so I'm not surprised that my form didn't feel as comfortable with a 1 rep max, but it felt really great with this lighter set. It does make me really want to start digging into deadlifts more because this set of 12 really had my calves, my quads, my glutes, my hamstrings all firing, really pumped, and it just felt good. All right, week number 2. Let's get our official weigh in here.
Last week 203.4, this week 200.8.
All right, so about 2.5 pounds. That's actually a little bit less than I thought. I thought I would be maybe another 2 or 3 pounds lighter just because losing water weight and also glycogen. But again, things fluctuate really heavily with that. So as long as we are moving down, we're doing good. So we'll probably keep the calories and macros exactly where they are. So whether you're cutting or you're bulking, I'm a huge fan of changing the exercises, especially if they're exercises that you, 1, never do, or 2, don't feel super comfortable in, because those are probably muscles that you aren't really great at activating and probably are weaker than the muscles that you prefer to use. So on the left side of the screen, you'll see that I'm doing an upright row, which usually I do with a barbell, but I'm doing it with weight plates. Changing it to weight plates or dumbbells, just that small variation hits the muscle in a completely different way. Sometimes you'll find that you're actually able to activate your deltoid better. And on the right side of the screen, you see that I'm doing reverse curls, which we all usually do with barbells, but I'm doing it with dumbbells. Again, just a small variation. And then of course, after I fail on this, I superset it into some dumbbell hammer curls. Try varying your exercises up, even if it means doing the same exercise, just with a different cable attachment or dumbbell or weight plate, anything like that. All right, when it comes to fat loss, people always go straight to 2 things, right? What's the best fat burner to use and what supplement should I be on? So I'm gonna cover those both real quick. Now, if you've been following me for a long time, you know that I'm a huge fan of just keeping things as simple as possible. When it comes to fat loss, the more you complicate it, the less likely you are to actually succeed and stick to the plan. Fat burners generally try to do 2 things. They have a thermogenic in there, so they're trying to increase your body temperature. They usually have a stimulant in there, which makes you feel like you have more energy. It usually curbs your appetite, things like that. And a fat burner, essentially with that stimulant, is trying to raise your resting heart rate just so that you burn more calories throughout the day. A lot of times people will end up taking so much fat burners that they're ending up taking, almost a gram of caffeine every day, which can lead to adrenal fatigue, which basically just means that stimulants don't affect you as much, but also it could just be super dangerous. I think what a better strategy is spending your focus and your money, honestly, on tracking your calories and macros better. Be more on point with your diet, because honestly, just eating 100 calories less instead of trying to burn 100 extra calories with a fat burner all day is gonna be the same outcome, and it's gonna be way healthier. Now, when it comes to supplements, I definitely think there are some supplements that are extremely useful, and I will start with some sort of stimulant. So that could be a pre-workout, it could be an energy drink, it could be coffee, it could just be straight caffeine. I am not saying that you absolutely should do this, but for me, my performance is way better in the gym when I have some sort of stimulant. I usually take a pre-workout, albeit I'll take like a third of a scoop because I'm very sensitive to stimulants. But for me, it is so helpful in the gym. So next up, I would say citrulline malate is really useful. And this is a vasodilator. So this just increases the ability of your blood vessels, your arteries and veins to increase in size so that you can get blood to and from your muscles quicker. Ultimately, what all that means is you are gonna get more of a pump. When you have a good pump, you have a better mind-muscle connection, so you're able to target the muscle you're trying to hit better. The better you can target that muscle, the more you're able to either gain muscle or retain that muscle. All right, just 3 more supplements. The next one being creatine. Creatine is studied so heavily, it increases your endurance in the gym so you can get a couple extra reps. Ultimately, over a year, getting a couple extra reps every single workout adds up to hundreds of extra reps. That is just a huge improvement for gaining muscle or retaining muscle. And then the next 2 are a multivitamin and an omega-3 supplement. Believe it or not, having these things is actually going to improve the amount of muscle you're able to gain and retain, the amount of body fat that you're able to use, because so many people, and I'm telling you, everybody across the board, vegans, not vegans, just everyone across the world is deficient in some sort of vitamins, right? And I feel like it is such an easy thing to supplement a multivitamin where you're able to get optimal levels of zinc and magnesium, which control your natural testosterone production. Things like selenium, vitamin D, these things help to improve your immune function, but ultimately also if you are deficient in any vitamin, you're going to see it play out into your energy levels, which is going to leak over into your workouts. Now, I know people are thinking, what about protein powders? And when it comes to them, you do not need it by any means, as long as you're getting enough protein in your food. But I think having a protein powder can be helpful. It's basically an insurance. It allows you to just be able to, boom, do it really quickly and easily. It takes a lot of stress out of having to try and figure out the perfect foods because you already can just have protein powder. So of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you about my supplement sponsor. Viva Life, of course, is the best vegan supplements in the world. They got protein, they got creatine, multivitamins, basically everything you could possibly need. It helps support the channel if you use my code. It's Brian10, gets you 10% off. But there we have it. That's my supplements talk. Keep it simple. All right, guys, I gotta know right now, what are you thinking about this new Progress series? Because I haven't done one of these since Resurrecting Hercules, if you remember that on the channel. One of my favorite series we've ever done on the channel. So I'm curious, what are you thinking so far? So in the first episode, I opened up free signups so that you could join me for an entire month, basically doing the exact same training as me. That has closed now, so you cannot join that anymore. For those of you who are on board, I'm super stoked. I'm in there every single day in the group chat. We're gonna kill it. Pretty pumped about this. If you missed that opportunity and you're looking for somebody to help motivate you, push you, create a custom workout, help you with macros, all that kind of stuff, if you don't know already, I do online coaching and I kick some serious vegan booty at it. And I'm doing a special right now because it's New Year's. If that's at all interesting to you and you want to chat any more details about it, send me a DM on Instagram, New Year's in the DM, and then you and me will chat and see if this is right for you. I'm pretty excited about how the progress is going. We're only 2 weeks in and we're starting to see some details popping out, a little bit of crispiness. So that makes me really excited to see what happens as we move forward. A little update is that we are actually leaving to Tulum, Mexico with a bunch of our friends. You guys probably know some of them, Nimai Delgado, Bianca Taylor, Amanda Sevilla, and a whole load of other people. So I will still be on this cut and I will still be filming. So I'm gonna be able to show you what you can do to continue staying on track and making progress even while on vacation. So I'm really excited about that. And we'll see if we can get a special episode with Nimai inside of it as well. But that is it for episode 2. If you're enjoying this progress series, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. It helps get it out in the algorithm a lot more, so I really do appreciate when you guys engage like that. If you didn't watch episode 1 already, I'll put a link in the description below. You can check that out. And that, my beautiful friends, is it. I will see you beautiful people in next week's video.